Okay. So something pretty surprising just happened during a congressional hearing, and honestly, I don't think most people in that room expected it to go the way it did, because Jasmine Crockett didn't yell, she didn't argue, she didn't even raise her voice. Instead, she did something much simpler. She just started asking questions, very basic questions. The kind of questions most people learn in a high school civics class, and somehow, those simple questions ended up completely dismantling the argument being pushed by Jim Jordan and others in the hearing. No shouting, no drama, just facts, and by the time she finished, the entire conversation in that room had completely shifted. But before we get to that moment, let's talk about what this hearing was actually about. The discussion was centered around the criminal conviction of Donald Trump in a New York State court case. A jury found Trump guilty on 34 felony counts connected to falsifying business records. The case was brought by Alvin Bragg, who is the elected prosecutor in Manhattan. Since that verdict came out, the political reaction has been intense. Some lawmakers have argued the case was politically motivated. Others say it simply followed the normal legal process. That debate is what brought everyone into this hearing. But when Crockett finally got her turn to speak, she didn't jump into the political fight. She did something completely different. She started explaining how the legal system actually works. Step by step, Crockett started with a really simple question. How many branches of government does the United States have? 3. Legislative, executive, judicial, basic stuff. Then she asked another question, which branch handles criminal trials? And the answer is obvious. The judicial branch, courts, judges, jurors, not Congress. And that's when her point started to become clear, because the conviction everyone in that room was arguing about happened inside a courtroom, not inside Congress, not inside a political debate, but in front of a jury. Then Crockett kept going. She walked through the entire legal process. First, there's an investigation. Then a prosecutor decides whether charges should be filed. If those charges are serious like felonies, the case goes before a grand jury. That grand jury is made up of ordinary citizens. They decide if there's enough evidence to move forward. If they agree, the case becomes an indictment. Then come the pre-trial hearings, the legal motions, the arguments, and eventually, the trial. During that trial, both sides present evidence. The defense has attorneys. They challenge witnesses. They question the evidence, they help select the jury, and at the very end of all of that, a jury decides the outcome. Not politicians, not TV commentators, jurors, and in this case, those jurors found Donald Trump guilty. Not once, not twice, but 34 separate counts. Crockett's message was actually pretty simple. In the United States, criminal guilt is decided by juries. Not by political opinions, not by congressional hearings, and not by debates on television. If someone believes a verdict is wrong, there's already a process for that. It's called an appeal. A higher court reviews the case. Judges look at the legal rulings and the evidence, and they decide whether the conviction should stand. That process is still happening. But Crockett made one thing very clear. Congress doesn't get to redo a criminal trial. That's not how the system works. What made this moment so powerful wasn't the tone. Crockett didn't yell, she didn't interrupt, she didn't insult anyone. She just stayed calm and kept asking questions. Each question slowly exposed a basic problem in the argument being made in that hearing. Because if lawmakers truly believe the verdict was wrong, the place to challenge it isn't Congress, it's the appeals court. That's exactly how the system was designed to work. And Crockett basically walked everyone through that process like a civics lesson. Moments like this tap into a much bigger issue in American politics. How much influence should politics have over the justice system? What role should Congress play when legal cases involve major political figures? And where exactly is the line between oversight and interference? These questions aren't going away anytime soon, especially when the person involved is a former president. But what Crockett emphasized during this hearing is that the legal system already has a structure. Investigations, trials, juries, appeals, all designed to operate independently from political pressure. The reason this clip spread so fast online is actually pretty simple. People weren't watching a typical political argument, they were watching someone calmly explain how the system works, while exposing how confused the conversation had become. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in a debate isn't shouting louder. It's asking the right questions and letting the answers speak for themselves. That's exactly what Crockett did, whether someone agrees with the verdict or not. One thing is clear: the legal process that produced it followed a system that has existed in the United States for generations. And if that verdict changes, it won't happen inside a congressional hearing, it will happen inside the courts. Exactly where the Constitution says it should. Now here's the real question: was Jasmine Crockett simply explaining how the legal system works? Or do you think Congress should be able to challenge decisions like this? I'm really curious what you think. Drop your opinion in the comments, and if you want to keep seeing moments like this explained in simple terms, make sure you hit subscribe. Because hearings like this are happening more often lately, and the next one could be even bigger. And if you made it all the way to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments so I know the real ones stayed till the end. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.